All right, everybody. This is your boy DJ Rowe, and we are live, everybody, on Anna's Global History Night. What's going on, Anna?
What's up? How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good, good. How do I sound?
You sound groovy. You sound good.
Okay, okay. Good, good. I coming back from Seattle yesterday morning, and I didn't have any sleep, and so when I got home, I thought that I'd left my computer in the airport. I don't know how I mean, when I switch it from my bag, and I couldn't figure out how. I thought that I was so tired that I must have just somehow done it. And I went all ahead, erased it and all of that, and then I found my computer. I was actually so tired that I thought I'd lost it. So I had erased everything. So it's just been a really weird 2 days of trying to put all this stuff back on my computer that's supposed to be there. So yeah. Yeah, little rattle. Just got Zoom back on and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, yeah. So, and I don't have my total like podcast pro setup, but can you hear the difference?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. So, what's up, everybody? Global History Radio. What's been going on, Roselle?
Ooh, man, just been working. Ooh, man,
Yeah.
I've been watching them news a little bit lately. I can't watch it no more.
Well, you got me to. Okay, so yeah. Well, you got me to interpret. So,
I know. I just,
um,
I don't know, man.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
just thankful I have a decent job, and
yeah.
that's all you can be cool with.
Basically, yeah, yeah, I feel the same way, man. I got a roof over my head and yeah, it's pretty scary out there. Um, it's yeah, it's important not to get too carried away and all of that and freak out, which is one of the reasons me and DJ Rowe get along so well, people, because neither of us is much into freaking out. I was going to a film last week and uh, somebody came out and immediately you're having a nice social thing and people just start talking about Trump. And she came out and said, um, "Oh my God, did you? Trump was so terrible to Zelensky." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, did you watch it?" And she said, "No." There was like a 40-minute Oval Office meeting with the Prime Minister of Ukraine and Trump and the vice president and all these people. And I didn't just watch I didn't just rely on what other people said. And I had the time, so I watched the entire conference, the entire meeting. And I did not think Trump was that terrible, as a matter of fact. Um, Even my brother thought Trump had acted pretty bad, but he hadn't watched he hadn't watched the whole thing either. And people were saying that Trump and Vance were like bullying Zelensky and putting him down. But what people didn't see is that Zelensky had had a long time to talk. He'd been going on and on and on. So I didn't have an issue with how they acted toward him. I was amazed at how quiet I was. I guess I was like, I couldn't figure out if he was listening or not. But Zelensky had plenty of time to talk. One of his things is that he wears fatigues or whatever his because his country is at war. So he never wears a suit. And it's not cool. And so a lot of people just don't understand. A lot of people like don't even know why he's doing it. So they just see this guy coming into um important functions wearing what looks like workout gear. I mean, a lot of the time he wears this sort of camo type stuff, which does look like something the military would wear, but now he just wears this black, I don't know, top. It practically looks like a sweatshirt. It looks like workout gear. And there's formal military dress. So if you're going to be doing that, then you can wear formal military wear. And so it was one of the things that Vance said to him was somebody did mention to him what he was wearing. And go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Oh, okay.
I'll say my part. Go ahead.
Well, it was, he was so obviously in over his head. He was a actor. He was like a stand-up comic before he became prime minister. So he simply does not have the intellectual, I think the awareness and his English is okay, but when you're talking about really complicated stuff and you're it's just and you're all right and you don't have the greatest familiarity with the subject in the first place, and he didn't have an aide with him, or it just so it was Trump and Vance and then Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. I guess there was his foreign ambassador, but he just seemed really isolated. And so, like, even if English is your native language, if you're like this one person representing your cause to a whole bunch of people, that's going to be really difficult to think on your feet because you're not going to have a minute when somebody else is talking. It's all you. So it really doesn't help with all that going on to look scruffy. And it, I mean, when you're someplace when you're meeting with a bunch of extremely high-powered people who are all dressed professionally, and somebody even said something to him about you're in the Oval Office, you're not respecting the Oval Office. And most of all, and this is why I don't like the senator from Pennsylvania that dresses like a slob. You represent people, you represent your country. So here you are, it's disrespectful to the people you're supposed to be representing, most of all. So anyway, it has been 3 years, and I am sorry that he's losing, but he's not. I mean, people thought Ukraine was going to be wiped out in 2 weeks, and it wasn't, but it's been 3 years. I was having a discussion with some other people, and because Trump is calling Zelensky a dictator. And of course, that's Trump be crazy, but their elections have been postponed since the summer. So, how do we know how the people of Ukraine feel about this war continuing?
And see, that's one of my issues with it is too. I kind of feel I get your point on the whole you got to dress a certain way. And I
Yeah.
understand that you're in the Oval Office, but he's in the middle of a war. So I think sometimes people's heads aren't the same. And I understood what Zelensky was saying to him. He was trying to say you're not kind of in a war, so you're not in his position. So like I said, I don't know his situation on his side. Maybe when he has to go back, maybe he's dressed like that because he knows maybe he might have to do some shooting or some fight. I don't know. I don't know his situation. I'm not in a war, and so I kind of see that part of him. I kind of think the way JD Vance and them sounded like spoiled rich kids. Like, well, I wasn't there, but I saw the stories. The way they
Okay.
said it was kind of
Okay.
like,
Vance is from a dirt poor background and served in the military.
and I get
Okay.
that, but he wasn't in
So,
like a war like the war that Zelensky is probably in, where he's like the president or the leader of a country. I mean, that just seemed like some harsh stuff. And then to be like, you didn't even say thank. I mean, the dude is
well, he was right. He didn't say thank you. You're asking people for millions of dollars, for
yeah,
millions, and they're
and I
already
get
given
that,
millions.
but we also got to understand where people's heads is at when stuff happens, bro. Some people when they in the middle of a lot of stuff, man, they're not going to be the same way as if everything is cool and calm.
Well, if you're the prime minister, that's your job. And it is your job to be like that. And again, but you're in the same situation of if I hadn't watched you saw that if you hadn't seen, I just saw the guy went on and on. He'd gotten plenty of chance to talk. Like basically, he hadn't even said thank you during that entire time before, like the whole 40 minutes, basically. And
I'm not and maybe I'm wrong here, but hasn't he said thank you before prior? I swear I've seen him say thank you in footage before where they've talked with him. Maybe I'm blanking.
well, I think when it comes to I think when it comes to or regardless, I mean, come on, it's like when somebody does something nice to you, do you just say thank you once? I mean, like say if somebody invites you out to dinner, you'll say thank you, and then
Right.
you'll say thank you for the dinner. I mean, something
And I
like
get your
that.
point on that. But when we're going to dinner, was the guy in the war before he came to dinner with me? If he was in
He
war,
shouldn't,
that's like that's like saying, you know how when you help a homeless person, right?
yeah.
Let's just say you help a bunch of homeless people. Some homeless people don't always say thank you when you help them.
Well, that's different. I
How is that
mean,
different? If I help the same
he,
homeless guy a couple of times, shouldn't he at least tell me thank you every time I help him?
Well, I mean, that homeless person is in a completely different is a completely different situation. I mean, it's a different situation, but different. I mean, there isn't really a comparable situation. And another, if you don't want to keep helping the guy, then don't keep
Yeah,
helping
you
him,
wouldn't keep helping him, but
basically.
what I'm saying is a lot of us understand when we help this guy, he made something, he's going through something, right? Am I right? Like you've helped the homeless. Hey, you've never helped homeless people that was kind of may have been going through. So I'm going to say going through something,
Of
not necessarily,
course.
and they may not always necessarily tell you thank you, but you realize that they're going through something. So when you're helping them, you understand that, right?
Heads of state don't have that luxury. I
Okay.
mean, from the United States, he went to Great Britain, then he went to France. Um, it's his job to be getting money for money, but like, I mean, it's the whole piece, basically. I mean, I think if you're and it does come back to representing people. I mean, you're the head of state. You're not an ordinary dude. You took on a role with a higher level of responsibility, and you should be able to do that. But anyway, I mean, I felt like, I mean, they shouldn't have had that whole conversation. And, I mean, think about the American people. I mean, he should express thanks to the American people. And I'm just talking about how he should act, I guess, that for working with people and for the just, you should just manners for the people you're speaking with. And um yeah, so basically, it's easy to people, if you'd listened to the guy for 40 minutes before that, you would have had more sympathy for Trump. I mean, Trump's insane, but he should know that. Like, basically, if you're it's even like in a way, say you are going out in battle, if you're in the war, is somebody not going to drop a bomb on you because you said you've been having a hard time?
Right.
He's in a war. And so, yeah. And it's so anyway, that's that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know anything about Ukraine's mineral rights, and that was crazy when I first saw that, and that they were supposed to be making some sort of deal about mineral rights, and I was like, shit, okay, we find this out when Trump gets into office.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
There's always
Transactional.
something.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, here's the United States with tons of people losing their jobs, and they're gonna be wondering why so much money is gonna go to Ukraine when we're having the whole USA thing. And I mean, the numbers of people getting laid off from the federal government is crazy. I mean, I think some of them are gonna be hired back, but okay, I remember we had this conversation a while ago, back when in the first Trump administration, when he cut money for UNRWA, that for the United Nations um commission, I don't know, organization that serves Palestinians. And I said at the time that I think that there's some good things about the United States not giving money, which is it takes away power. It means the United States has less power. I think that the Middle East countries should be helping the Palestinians, basically, because I mean, they keep all of their causes revved up because of injustice toward Palestinians. They have the money, they care about the cause. I mean, that's their Muslim brothers and sisters. And so, yeah, they should be helping out. They should help out. And then there's all these organizations, all the USAID organizations that he's cutting. And yeah, some of it's real bad, but I don't think it's all bad, because some of these, when you have these great big government organizations, there is not oversight for a lot of it. The Republicans keep bringing up insane things that the money was going for, and I keep trying to figure out what's true and what isn't. The thing is, they don't just make the stuff up completely. They don't. Nobody does that. That's just because that's just stupid. It's not a total lie. What anybody is going to do is take a piece of information and you can take it out of context. You can leave something out. You cannot explain things. You can do all sorts of stuff to make something sound more insane than it is. They keep talking about sex changes for mice. um,
Oh Lord.
yeah, I think the root of that is pharmaceutical experiments, which is always happening because the gender industry is huge. I mean, it is a massive money-making enterprise. And um just a second. And so, experiments are done on animals and rats and mice and all of that. So yeah, I guess from that they could make it into giving rat sex changes or something. Um, so it's not, and when it comes to the United States aiding foreign countries, I'm not, who says the United States should be doing everything? And NATO was designed, I mean, these were systems that were put into place after World War II, 80 years ago. And yeah, there is something to, it should be re-examined. And it's not that I really think that money would be going to house people, but look at the fucking United States. I mean, we have people that can't afford places to live all over the place. I mean, is it like that in Europe? Does Europe have homeless encampments all over the place? So, yeah. So unfortunately, it people can't see, well, the right or the left or whatever can't see any positives in any of this. Um, I think that some of it, especially like they laid off a bunch of people at the park service and stuff. Well, I mean, that's bad because they're protecting nature and all of that. I mean, I can't. So yeah, some of it's really bad and some of it is not so bad. If if you could fix these problems with money, then they would have been fixed. There's so much money that goes into these social problems and global health and education and all of that. I just I think if it was done more efficiently, more smartly, that there's um different ways to do it. So well, it's like the conversations I've had with people about DEI. I mean, there's this automatic worrying about DEI, and I mean, so he just said, "This is our conversation I had with Alan." I was like, "Hey, do you think people have gotten less racist because of DEI?" The problem is that DEI became a massive money making venture in and of itself. And like you were talking about trainings that you had at work, and I was heard and I was listening to a podcast about somebody that worked in a theater and they had days of these educations. I mean, I think that it should be done, that it should be, you should be able to do something like that in a day. Or let me just say what I think that, like, you can give people some basic understanding of populations that you need to know. People need to know how to talk and how to act at work. There needs to be those standards. They need to learn that. But when I hear about some of these courses asking people, and I'm talking about the workplace, to examine their privilege and all of that, your work shouldn't be telling you how to think.
Right, right.
Like, how would you go about it? What do you think, like, as a, you know, what do you think people need to know?
Like about how they go about work.
Yeah,
Like what working like
like say trainings. You have trainings at work, don't you?
yeah, I mean I think the trainings are okay how they go about it. I mean,
Yeah, like a day or so, or
some a day or so, some may take a week. It just depends on what you're training for.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, there's, go ahead.
I think there's a lot of trainings. I think regardless of how much training, people learn more as they do it. The
Yeah.
trainings just give them an idea of what they're supposed to do. That's how I work it. So I mean, it just depends on what the position is. You know, like
Well,
you
yeah,
said,
well,
maybe a couple of days, maybe a week. I don't know, depending on what your position is.
oh yeah, but I don't mean training to do a job. I mean DEI trainings.
You mean like, oh well, I think they're good. I think we have a good training.
Well,
I think
yeah,
it's still
it's
good. I think yeah, across the board, the way that they do training to me is good.
well, that's good. I mean, you hear like you hear about I just there's just places where they really go overboard, where they just take up way too much of people's time. I mean, people are getting paid to do this sort of stuff that is the sort of thing that you should be doing in college, examining and all of that.
I will say
Yeah.
this, and this is just my opinion. I think we're getting to a point where we're beyond the generation of people. Like I think, like me and you, we had more people. I feel we have more people skills. We interacted with
Yeah.
people at a younger age. I
Yeah.
think that the reason why the training is what you're seeing is different now, and they spend more time and money on it, is because I don't think a lot of people are that sociable like they used to be.
Hmm.
So you got to think if you're different people who haven't met other kind of people, you know, sometimes they don't really get to start meeting people until they have to work.
Which is true. I mean, people like to blame older folks for being the racists and stuff. But yeah, like at this point, I mean, come on, the people in the workforce are baby boomers. The oldest people in the workforce are baby boomers, and they're
Yeah,
not,
they don't have much
yeah,
influence. The people will try to use that's an excuse. It's just I think it's the person, the people. You're around a lot of people. Me, I'm
yeah.
around a lot of people. Me and you could just if people knew us, they know me and you deal with a lot of different people. So I think it's different. Like someone like I don't feel me and you would need a lot of training for
Oh
something
no.
like that. Not at all. But there's people who, like I said, who are kind of sheltered. There may be kids who were part of the whole COVID epidemic and all that kind of
Well,
stuff where
yeah,
they didn't get to
yeah,
meet anybody.
yeah,
And if they're in a small town with a bunch of certain type of people, and let's just say they go to college or go somewhere and they're around different people, they may not be the same type of people around other people because they're not used to being around them. So,
yeah,
by the time they get to a job, they might have to have that kind of training because they might not know how to talk and treat those type of people.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy. I mean, the I keep it just swings around. I mean, the problem is that we have a culture where speech is suppressed on the left and on the right. And so you're seeing lists of words that are supposed to be removed from government documents, which sucks, which is bullshit. And that's not, I don't like how some of these changes are being, well, shit, we can get onto the whole sports things pretty soon, because that's like a perfect example. But somebody was saying to me, oh, the left isn't as bad about forcing speech. And I was saying, like, well, maybe, but they sure as fuck are bad about it. Things you can't say, people are punished for. Um, it's just, it's just fucked up. And I think that what might happen is people get hired back, and because they need people to run the government, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. But the I was in a meeting for the Democratic Party here, and I was interested because they were talking about communication, but it's just the same old shit. There was there's supposed to be a training, and how to make points about, and I'm like, you people have been arguing about Trump for 10 years, and he has only gained more popularity. I the only thing I think we should be doing is trying to get along better, because it's not, what's happening isn't working, and what's been happening. So yeah, yeah. Um, so I mean, Trump addressed did his address to Congress, and there were Democrats not going to protest it. And again, that I 100% do not believe that not going someplace is a legitimate protest. All it means is that you're not there. And again, you are not there for yourself. You're there, you represent people, and it's your job to be there. And you should be there to represent the people that elected you. And then I talk about this every fucking State of the Union, where the fucking women senators, there was one year where like the women decided to wear white in honor of the suffragettes, and this year there was a group of them wearing pink to register like disagreement or whatever. It's like, fuck you. You are okay. That is something that girls do in grade school. Okay. You and your friend will plan to wear the same thing the next day. That is grade school behavior. And I don't understand why a grown woman even has any pink clothing. Wait. Um, that was ridiculous. They did not applaud at all. They did not applaud for any of Trump's guests or anything. And it's like, come on, people. Um, it's not you. You're. It's not. I don't think anything is 100%. Like he was. There's an initiative to legislation to make deep fake porn a felony. So like if you like now people will like just take some public photo off of somebody's Facebook and they can use AI or whatever to remove the clothes. So then people think this person is has nudes. And so that's been made a felony. I mean, that's something that so there was a teenage girl at the who's part of the legislation, and she was there. Clap for her, you idiots. I mean, come on, can we all like are you gonna disagree with punishing deep fake porn just because Ted Cruz wrote the law? Fuck that. I've been listening to Ted Cruz's podcast. You see, he's another one. Like everybody hates Ted Cruz. I think he's really funny. And I listen. I want to understand people. I want to understand their logic. I get it. And like with Vance, I mean somebody who okay he has the advanced degree and the military experience and the dirt poor background. I'm going to listen to what somebody like that has to say. I want to know their opinions because my background is nothing like that. um so yeah, that's why I think it's important. Like, okay, it is the Democrats became the rich people's party. And that's just been happening more and more. There's just so many Democrats that can't even have a conversation with somebody that works in the trades, whatever. And so it used to be that Republicans were the rich people's party. Like, no, not at all. And, and that's why, I mean, um, there's more and more people of color that voted for Trump. And they have reasons. So I'm just not even and so when I looked at the local demo, I got another email about meeting or something. And yeah, okay, sort of like I kept trying to remember, there's a line from Junior Soprano where he says some people are so far behind they think they're ahead. That's the Democratic Party. It's sort of like, it's like you don't realize that everybody's ahead of you, and like say you're all alone, you think everybody must be behind you, but they're actually ahead of you.
Yeah,
So
well,
that, yeah, that's why I fucking listen to conservative media and all that. And again, I was able to see my brother for a couple days, which was awesome. And I already am not, I don't think Kamala should run for governor of California because she did such a shitty job on the border. And the fucking, she, like Kamala, she didn't even go down to the southern border until she was running for office. And that's bullshit. And again, because I watch conservative media, I've just seen interviews and coverage for all these years of sheriffs and people that live on border towns, and they have issues with what's going on, and leaders should pay attention to issues. And Have you seen the statistics on border crossings? Well, it says border crossings are down 90% since Trump came into office.
Oh, that
And
sounds pretty good. Hopefully, it's the truth.
well, I mean, I mean, I've seen it from enough sources that, um, yeah, I've seen it from enough sources that I certainly believe it. I mean, that's not like turning mice transgender. I mean, that's a number. It's a lot harder to lie about to twist numbers. Well, no, actually, you can twist numbers, but I
I know
believe
one thing:
it.
Trump is on your side when it comes to the whole sports situation with
Yeah,
transgender.
yeah, yeah.
He is
And we're
on
gonna
your
get
side
there. We're gonna get
100%.
there. Um, it's not nearly enough, but
Hey,
so the other, like I pointed out, I okay, so what happened was there was the whole thing at the beginning of Trump's first term where he separated, families were separated. And the reason that they're doing that, and the reason that ICE is now picking up so many people is because um, being in the country illegally is a crime. And so, like when people would cross the border illegally, Trump would he separated the families to he would detain the adults, the parents, because it's a crime to cross the border. And so then and so that all these years what's been happening is they haven't like they can't pick somebody up just because they're here illegally. That's kind of the key difference. Before, like under Biden, they couldn't pick somebody up just because they are here illegally. And that it wasn't enforced. But now Trump is enforcing it. So basically, they can pick somebody up who's breaking the law because they're breaking the law by being here. So when they when Biden took over, they changed that. So what they would do is if somebody crossed the border with a child, they wouldn't detain them. They would give them they'd let them go with like a court summons to come back for their hearing, which most of them wouldn't do. And that meant that children were trafficked into the United States.
right.
And so that is something that conservatives have been talking about, and it's true. So people were bringing across boys and girls that would be sex trafficked or sent to work in plants or fields or something like that. So, I mean, there just isn't, there's problems on all sides. I mean, yeah, when people cross with it's not that I have an answer for it, but at all, but it needs to be understood that when the right when the conservatives talk about children being trafficked across the border, it's true. All somebody needs to do, any criminal, any trafficker, anybody can just take a kid, basically. And so they need to try and find those kids. And then the Democrats don't want anybody sent home. They don't want anybody to be deported, including a 16-year-old who is being deported. Like, yes, that they should be deported back to their parents. So, yeah. Yeah. So, um, I don't know. They need to get it figured out because um it's like it's hurting businesses, like even there's people that are afraid to go out, so they're staying in, and that means business is down. I don't know. I mean, and I've said it before, if anybody there's I mean, advocates are basically encouraging illegal immigrants to break the law, which I think is very bad advice because they're going to get caught. And so, uh, I mean, I was watching an arrest or something, and um, the person was like screaming, like, you don't have the right, you don't have the right. And the ICE officer said, you've been watching too much TV. Um, I just see these messages everywhere going out that, you don't need to tell the ICE officer your name, all this stuff, which is true. And that is information that people should have if they are indeed in the country legally. But if they're not, I think the advocates should be helping them figure out how to turn themselves in and get legal status, or how to figure out how to leave, because they're going to get caught. And or do you want to really, and it's definitely I mean, the Democratic Party hitched them. It's, like, you look at Chicago, which is a sanctuary city, and you watch city council meetings in um in Chicago, and there's a lot of Black Chicagoans who are mad at all the money that's going to the migrants, basically money that is not going to fix up their neighborhoods. So that is a so the border was a big concern for a lot of people, and that got Trump votes. And so, I mean, again, there's this blah blah, it's so terrible, it's like it's so racist to not want, these people are so racist toward the migrants. So, well, you're talking about a lot of Black folks, so that kind of doesn't really, you gotta look at people's concerns. And yeah, yeah, a lot of people feel that, I mean, if they're if it's their I mean, if their tax money is not benefiting their family and their neighborhood, people definitely have reason to be pissed. So, yeah, the Democrats are just stupid. Like, okay, okay, so, um, okay, so yeah, I, I shut my advocacy down for a while after the election. I was just because people are so freaked out about Trump. And in a way, I feel like it kind of feels a little bit like the calm before. So I started posting again, and some of it is the chickens coming home to roost. Like, okay, um, they just wouldn't like, yeah, And like, yeah, you people, it's important. There is, when people talk about trans rights, what do you mean? They mean they are talking about males being able to enter female spaces flat out. And people get real mad at me for saying males. You're supposed to, um, people think it's transphobic if you don't say trans women or women. People get fucking pissed because I when I say women, because I just, and I don't, and with my language, I mean, language is everything. So what I say in conversations is I support single sex space and opportunities for women. And I say that a lot. And I'm not against anyone. I am for this cause. And it pisses people off because they want me to say cis women. Like, no, I'm not going to, because people want you to designate that because they want to say, like, trans women are women. Like, no, trans women are trans women. That's one word for them. And other people, there's other, like, fine, call yourself that, but I'm not changing what I call myself. And like one of the crux, like one of the simplest ways to put it is sex and gender are different things. Gender is a concept, sex is a fact. You cannot change your sex. We're born male or female. You can do whatever with your gender, but that's different. So basically, people are saying because they feel that they're a woman, they should be able to be in women's spaces. And no. So, um, but now, um, Trump doesn't want trans people in the military. And that's discriminate. And I think that's wrong. I mean, that everybody should have the opportunity to serve in the military. There has always been. So I don't know. I mean, um, I'm delighted that there's like a directives to stop putting your pronouns into everything. Good. Fuck that. I'm sick of that shit. Um, so I'm just trying to balance it in a way because I think that now there is discrimination, but I'm not gonna change my beliefs. And basically, Trump said that, but it's not, it's a signing a whatever the fuck it is, executive order is a long, long way toward anything happening because it'll get balled up in court. And there's just all these different aspects. And there's the NCAA. And see, I didn't even know all this shit until I got into this cause, but the NCAA guide, I mean, they just pulled this shit, which means they can try and get out of it. I mean, nothing's changed. And just something that's so important is that the conversation is about elite athletes, but this ideology is everywhere. And so this means that, like, you can have your fifth, like, kids, I mean, they start separating kids for sports in elementary school, and there's a reason. And so it means that it's happening all over the place. It's happening to kids in grade school and junior high and high school. And there's girls speaking at um, school board meetings and pointing out that um, they're doing it, that other girls feel the same way, but they're scared of being bullied. They're scared of being called transphobic. So, and then again, nobody said anything yet about the inmates, about the female inmates with males in their prisons. And that's the ultimate. I know, like, politically, the sports issue has been used a lot because you think that a lot of people could relate to it. You'd think a lot of people could, and people can barely go along with that. And so trying to get people to care about prison inmates is hard. Um, but what happened, just going back to the Trump's address to Congress, 2 days before that, about there'd been a bill to protect women and girls in sports, which the Democrats shut down, got shot down. There's something called cloture where it can, a vote will need, like, basically it's a vote as to whether something can be voted on. So this bill was debated in the Senate, but then every single Democrat voted against it. So so the Senate wasn't able to vote on it. And including some of those senators. And so so there were women senators, Democratic senators that voted against that, and then they put on their little pink outfits for the state of the for the address to Congress, which is just like, fuck you. You people are being voted out. There's two Democratic senators from Georgia, and Georgia went for Biden in 2020, but went for Trump in 2024. And so looking at Democratic senators from Georgia, I'm thinking, like, what the fuck? Do you not see, why do you not see how people are feeling? Like, there's polls, plenty of people agree with this. You live in Georgia. It seems to me that that's going to get them voted out. And the same with Congressman Fetterman from Pennsylvania has been very pro-Israel, and a lot of people are mad at him about that. So I was writing to my brother about it and just saying, like, well, maybe Fetterman will vote on our side since people are mad at him anyway about Israel, but he didn't. He's like a fucking moron. Like, okay, you're in a swing state, and this is an issue that people feel strongly about. You've already pissed people off about the state of Israel, and this is the same crowd. So what the fuck are you thinking? I don't get it at all. So with that, want to take a break?
Let's do it.
Okay.
And it's Global History Night, y'all.
Oh, you don't let me no more. I can't let it go. Impeccable timing, my soul is aligning. Steadily, readily, heavenly climbing. Head of the board, working on climbing. Cold chair went down bad. There's a petition and I need to sign it. Going remedial when I am rhyming. Feel like a lineman, need me a Heisman. My ops like jellyfish. Who need a spine? I hope you find it. Lurking comments, make it timeless. All this Facebook activism needs to stop. Screen caps every time I cough. Real unfamiliar, like who is you? Facebook cops, run some errands, little FB Karens. Your feelings hurt, and I'm not caring. Don't like the memes that I be sharing. Boo hoo, pity you. I ain't Mr. T. I don't pity fools. I don't make the rules. I just play the game. My teacher school spit yoga flame. You and I just ain't the same. Difference is your ass is lame. You David Blaine. I'm Dr. Strange. I'm Barack. You Herman Cain. Where is your album? Where is your product? What have you done except go and snitch? Real life, homie, you a bitch. I hate the word, but I guess it fits. I drop a diss. I make a hit. I choose a side. You play the fence. You can't even come ride the bench. Facebook camping trips. It gets intense. Spark my page. Burn some sage while I get paid and you stay enslaved. Oh, you don't let me no more. I can't let it go. Impeccable timing, my soul is aligning. Steadily, readily, heavenly climbing. Head of the board, working on climbing. Cold chair went down bad. There's a petition and I need to sign it. Going remedial when I am rhyming. Feel like a lineman, need me a Heisman. My ops like jellyfish. Who need a spine? I hope you find it. Lurking comments, make it timeless. All this Facebook activism needs to stop. Screen caps every time I cough. Real unfamiliar, like who is you? Facebook cops, run some errands, little FB Karens. Your feelings hurt, and I'm not caring. Don't like the memes that I be sharing. Boo hoo, pity you. I ain't Mr. T. I don't pity fools. I don't make the rules. I just play the game. My teacher school spit yoga flame. You and I just ain't the same. Difference is your ass is lame. You David Blaine. I'm Dr. Strange. I'm Barack. You Herman Cain. Where is your album? Where is your product? What have you done except go and snitch? Real life, homie, you a bitch. I hate the word, but I guess it fits. I drop a diss. I make a hit. I choose a side. You play the fence. You can't even come ride the bench. Facebook camping trips. It gets intense. Stalk my page. Burn some sage while I get paid and you stay enslaved. Working hard for the minimum wage. You need EBT and some Section 8. Get out my face. Ain't no love. It's only hate. You know why? Your ass is weak. Think you woke, but you really sleep. See, I'm the wolf eating up the sheep. I don't bang on computer screens, say exactly what the fuck I mean and I feel. Word is bomb, words can heal, words can kill. I'm too high, can't match the scale. They don't know about the shit I build. I'm front lines and that's for real. Black August, where was you? May Day, where was you at? What about Columbo? Who remembers that? I ain't seen you as a matter of fact. What about the cipher? You too whack to rap? I don't care who you related to. I don't care who you say it to. I don't care who you play it to. You know who I'm talking to. I don't care who you related to. I don't care who you say it to. I don't care who you play it to. You know who I'm talking to. Stop caping. Make a motherfucking observation. Think about who's talking. Learn some motherfucking communication. Use a loaded gun. Your trigger's easy to pull. You can't blame that shit on me. If you come to lose your cool. No more heroes. I'm sorry that I'm imperfect. The lies I say make it worth it. Conscious voice fulfilling purpose. The streets make people feel worthless, but you out here judging me. Irony of the suburban. Took my niece to Sunday service. Wrote messages for beloved so they know somebody care. Male real model for all them daddies who ain't there. And you only come around to critique the things that I share. Got in touch with my emotions and I'm mentally prepared for days like this. Going out to fight the bear. Stay sharp like a square. I guess that energy is rare. You ain't say shit on my Nas X video. Old as Arsenio. Fuck all y'all millennials. You think that you critical. Your energy is pitiful. Fake, woke, broke, dumb, and stereotypical. Do you even have thought to your own as an individual? Or the common sense that God clearly never gifted you? They don't love me no more. They don't love me no more. They don't love me no more. I'm not your hero, baby. Your hero, baby. They don't love me no more. Said they don't love me no more. They don't love me no more. I'm not your hero, baby. Your hero, baby.
And we are back, everybody. This is your boy DJ Rowe. And are you in the building?
Sure am. Yes. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Just trying to get my earpods on So I didn't watch any of the movies, any of the Oscar movies this year. I feel so completely out of cultural stuff. Did you? You caught up on anything cultural?
The closest I've watched, and I don't know if it won an Oscar yet, was Captain America.
Oh, okay.
That's about
Okay,
it.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't been much on the movie thing myself either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've been working all the time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been trying to keep up with what's going on in Syria. Last around December, the dictator of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, was finally deposed. He left the country to go live with his lovely friend Putin. And it's just really been unclear what the government of Syria is going to be like. You just always certainly hope that it will be better for citizens, but I guess now I just have been looking and like now there's been clashes between the new government and loyalists of Assad. I mean, people can leave somebody can leave the country and still have control. Um, I read Alexei Navalny's memoir, and we started talking about him a couple of years ago. He was a opposition leader in Russia who was poisoned when he was in Siberia, trying to get back to Moscow. And so he was taken off of the plane. He was flying on a plane, and the plane made an emergency landing, and he would have died otherwise. So he was taken to a hospital, and they wouldn't release him for 2 days. He was supposed to fly to Germany for special treatment. They wouldn't release him for 2 days to try and get the poison out of the system. So anyway, he had he was allowed to fly to Germany and was there for about 8 months recovering. And then he came back. Remember, we were tracking it at the time. He came back and was arrested at the airport, which everyone I knew was going to happen. And then he was in prison for three years. He died in 2024. So he was just pretty amazing. He was really charismatic, and he started off just exposing corruption within Russia, basically. And he was just really able to motivate people and inspire people. And he traveled all over the country getting involved in local elections. And that's why he was in Siberia. Um, Siberia is the easternmost part of Russia, and it's practically Arctic. You get over there and you're getting close to Alaska and all that to that and that part of the world. Siberia was where people would a lot of like political prisoners were always sent there. That's partially why I remember it. And my dad went there a couple times because him and his ex-wife adopted kids from there. So anyway, I read Navalny's memoir, and he talked about at the end, and his persona was just really funny. Like I saw like the last video of him is at a court appearance in the prison. And what they do in Russia with prisoners in court, they put them in a cage and in the courtroom. So the last video shows him joking with the judge. He's like making jokes with the judge about saying something like, well, now you're getting all this money for doing this. Why don't you go do something? And they were all, the judge was laughing, the guards were laughing. And one of the things he also did was he was able to find the people that poisoned him. And he called up one of them and impersonated like an assistant from Putin to find out how the poisoning happened. And it was like a 40-minute phone call. And hear this, I mean, it's amazing that my God, this person just divulged all this information to I mean, Navalny must have called him on a private line. Like, how are you just going to do that in a phone call? And you're sort of wondering the whole time whether Navalny's just going to say at the end, like, it's Lexi. But it's pretty fascinating to watch. I mean, you can, it's in Russian, and so there's translations underneath it, but it's also just fascinating even without that, because you can just see what's going on. I mean, he was filmed, him being filmed talking with this guy, but and then when he woke up from his coma, he said, I get the first thing he said was something like, how fucking stupid, or something like that. But at the end of the book, he talked about his faith. And it wasn't ever something he spoke about publicly that I knew of, but that was driving him. And he said that everybody asks, why did you come back? Why did you come back? And he said he'd given his word, and that he'd given his word to people that believed in him, that he would be back. And he said that his wife hated Putin even more than he does. So that was, because you wonder, I don't know, I mean, that would be really hard for his family. I mean, she flew back to Russia with him, and so she was there, and they knew. And then his daughter was in college. She's interviewed in the documentary about him. And then he has a son who's younger, and but it was very moving to read the end of it, because he's just writing. I mean, some of it he was just writing as it happened, and he's writing saying, I'm not going to, I'll die. I will most likely die here. And he was okay with it. He and his wife talked about it, and she was too. So it was pretty amazing how people can accept that sometimes, or, yeah. So it was very moving. I also read a little bit of Brittany Griner's memoir. So, but then I got sort of distracted, but yeah, that was pretty fucking, that just would have been so scary. I guess I could just relate to that. Oh man, I could just relate to what happened to her. I've had it happen so many times when I've gotten out a suitcase to pack for something, and I'll find something in it from the last trip. Like, oh, that's where that was. So it's just something that's so easy to relate to. Yeah, so rest in peace, Alexei. And so, meanwhile, with our friend, I mean, it's kind of who knows what's going to be happening with Ukraine and Putin. I mean, it's been 3 years, and how do you know we don't know how Ukrainians feel about it. And how can you, to me, if you are at war and not having an election, you're a dictator.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard situation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
hopefully the United States never gets put in that situation.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to get invaded by Canada.
Yeah. Hey, Canada ain't playing with Trump, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess Trudeau's out.
yeah, Canada ain't playing with Trump, so
And they shouldn't.
I'm just anxious to see how all this is gonna turn out because I don't know,
I
man.
know. And I mean, all this crazy stuff has happened just in a couple weeks.
I know,
And
huh? We're not even within a year yet.
yeah, what the
I
hell is
personally
gonna happen?
think too much stuff was done too quickly. That's my opinion. If you're gonna at least do all this kind of stuff, like do it kind of slowly and timely. I think I don't know. I think he went buck wild on his executive orders. It just kind of just,
Of course
I
he
don't
did.
know.
Because
It's just
well,
funny to me. He was able to do it, and Trump could. I mean, Obama couldn't do it like that, but Trump can. It's just gets to be every time.
yeah, well, I mean, if I were him, I would have, because I mean, it's all stuff he would have been planning to do in his second term. I mean, it's all stuff he must have had planned out. And
Yeah, I know.
so he would have been basically ready to go with it. And then he's had 4 more years just to think about it.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, I would do that too. If I'd been waiting for 4 years for something, I wouldn't be waiting around any longer.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if this is a good thing though. I'll just put it that way.
Well, I think some of it is. I think I mean there's always a backlash, and I think there's going to be a backlash for the DEI, really. I
I
just
don't know.
think that
I think in the long run of everything, when you have something that's been going a certain way for so long, and you just try to put a massive change, well, there's going to be some backlash.
well, I mean, the level that it's at has not been going on that long.
And I'm not talking about just
Yeah.
DGI
Okay.
DEI either. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about just that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about everything with the tariffs.
Oh
I'm talking
yeah.
about everything that he's trying to
Yeah.
put into play. I think it's a little it's just excessively quick. You know, I just
I would
wonder, did
still
they
do it
think
though.
about it before they did it, or was it just more like, let me hurry up and get in here and do it?
Sure he did. I mean, he's been planning to do this for years. I mean, he's planned to do it for years. And so I don't know. I mean, I think that if it doesn't work, then we'll see it in the midterms and we'll see it in 4 years. But I think the Democratic Party is over.
And they may be. They may be.
Yeah, they fucking lost the plot. I mean, they just became so insular, and the fact that they basically like somehow, I mean, who gave them? It was a fucking dumb idea. Like, why did you like? Okay, why did you people think that you would be elected by not being tough on the border and by going ape shit, and by ape shit over trans issues and letting um males into women's spaces? I mean, like, who did you people think was gonna vote for you? And basically, they, I mean, they deserve it. Like, okay, people indicated all they did, they're just digging in deeper. I mean, people expressed their views. Well, people expressed their views in midterms, people expressed it, and they're just digging in deeper. So, watch the swing state ones get voted out. So I want them all to be gone. Well, of course, I want Burn Dog gone, but a friend of mine was posting on X. I can't even fucking. She said something. She was talking about wanting Bernie to run in 2028. She's saying, "Well, I don't want an 88-year-old, but nobody else seems to be doing anything." And I'm like, God, I thought you were smart. He's been losing since 2016. I was so fucking annoyed with I was just looking at the Dems that were demonstrating outside one of the buildings, and it's like it's Schumer, it's Warren. You people have been here since 2016. You people have been losing to Trump since 2016. You need to get out. You need different people. I don't know, like look at if you've been like in a way you must be so it just shows how detached they are. If do you not like, okay, you lost to the guy in 2016 and the the Republican Party has been gaining in Congress since 2012, definitely since 2012. And they just, so they did not seem to notice that. And then there was 2016. So yeah, yeah. But so like with the tariffs, I mean, we'll see if it works out badly, then the Democrats will get another crack. But I don't know. But it's certainly scary to think about what all these layoffs are going to do to the job role. I mean, to unemployment. I mean, when you're looking at the number of people being fired, that's scary.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. And some of those jobs are pretty specialized. That's
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's doing a lot of stuff that I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me too quickly, man. It's just
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, it seems good in a way that it's like I see what some people think it's like I guess because he's just coming in and doing all these changes, but I can't buy it, man. I can't buy it yet.
I would definitely do it because if you like say if you I mean he's got 4 years, and so basically if I had stuff I'd been wanting to do, I'd just do it all right away, because that way if it doesn't work you have time to figure out something else.
But that's like a bad people
No,
don't
it's
understand
not.
that it stuff don't work that way, man. When you do
Yeah, it
stuff real
does.
quick, it's hard just to change it. You can't just be like, I can just fix it. Sometimes it
But
ain't that easy.
if you do something and if you find out that something doesn't work, you're better off having 4 years to fix it than having 3 years or 2 years to fix it.
If you want to put it that way, I guess, but I still think to me it's a little too. He's doing this a little too quickly. He could have did
I
this a little slower, worked it out, find out what's what. I think when you do stuff this harshly for something that's been a certain way so long, it's just diplomacy wise, it's not the best.
Oh no, but that's not what he's good at anyway. But I think that, well, I think one of the things that's good, I mean, they'll do all the deportations and then they're gonna allow more people back in with work visas. And yeah, I mean, why do it like, why wait? If you've been waiting to do something for all these years, just do it and then you can try. And if you like, if I thought something was gonna be beneficial, which, in his own way, of course he does, sure I would. I'd just do it, because he's had plenty of time to figure it out. So yeah, yeah. I definitely would. So that's Trump and the world. I've been starting to work with a new organization that, because there's legislation about the female sports issue. I mean, that's one of the things I point out to people that get on my case, is that this is global. The erosion of women's sex-based rights is happening all over the world. So it doesn't even matter what sort of drama people want to talk about here in the US. It's happening everywhere. So I'm starting to do some work on that. And so that'll be interesting. It's like just trying to real deal, like legislation and all of that. I was on a meeting last week, and there's some heavy hitters on there, people really doing some complicated stuff. So I'm definitely hoping I can do some learning. And yeah, I think I'm about ready to wrap up.
What, already?
Let's take a break. We can take a break.
All right, we'll take a quick break.
Okay.
All right. And it's Global History Night, y'all.
One child, one soul, one mind, born divine, broken hearts, broken starts, everything will fall apart. Let's rewind. Growing up, who were your idols? Seeing the news about Guanarajo, scared well-being. Now I'm not believing. Why was I cursed like this? Why is life such a trip? It's all a cloud of mist, depressed and dissed. Don't leave us, you will be missed dearly from from all the boys and girls. Everyone in this lonely world, losing time, losing faith, harming self, alarming self, dreaming eyes and bleeding tongues. Revive and start anew, device eating crumbs. Will I be one who shoots up a school? Am I those abandoned kids on the news? What will I do? How will I survive? All I want to do is thrive. Heads filled with thoughts, only death reserved the slot in my near future. Sewing up sutures, nowhere left to go. Crawl to the dark abyss, heartless foe. Maybe one day someone will love me and call me Miss Love. One child, one soul, one mind, one divine. Broken hearts, broken starts, everything will fall apart. Just breaks away, and we're left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left.
27 Inc. Hey, 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 hey. We gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap, yeah. You should join, make them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss. We gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap, you should join, make them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss. Wake up in China, or Dubai. You are not like me. Nice try. I'm a nice guy. Why you wanna chop me up? Pillow talking with them bitches. I'ma call your bluff. Yay, act up. Soft as cotton. Yay, say Batman, but I'm doing all the robbing. Had your bitch slobbing, heart throbbing. She said go deep. I told her no problem. Fetty, get that bag. This no secret. I move different. You can peep it. I live it. 2 fucks, I'ma give it. You wanna floss? I'ma go serious. You don't get to it. Get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make them jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss. We gon' get to it. Get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make them jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss. Don't call me mommy. Call me Cougar, catch a Ruger, I'm a shooter, say my Hooter, say what you like, I keep it tight, I need a coochie man to hit it right, keep it wet, make me sweat, no disrespect, come correct, ain't on my level, old boss ain't cross, got the jet, tryna flex, speaking on the next, niggas on your necks, we playing chess, what you thought, tryna cross a bow. Get that coin, no cap, you should join, make them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss, we gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap, you should join, make them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss.
And we are back, y'all. And it's Global History Night. And are you in the building?
Yeah. I got a couple stuff coming up. April 5th, the first Saturday in April, I'm going to screen a film just called Sally, and it's about a gay woman named Sally Gearhart who was just real politically active, founded the Women's Studies Department at San Francisco State University, was a professor, so worked with Harvey Milk. So I was just interested in it. I like to try and get new films here in Vallejo and increase lesbian visibility. So it's kind of different than some of the stuff I've been doing lately, but it'll be pretty cool. I'm getting a good response from people so far, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and the director's gonna come in for that. So yeah, just trying to do some different stuff, you know? Yeah, yeah. So you got any show? Oh, Age has a new podcast. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on Age. Shout out to Age, man.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but I saw he posted it. So come check out Age.
Yeah, Age has been getting down with this podcast. He's
God damn, he
doing good.
has. Yes. Yeah, man. He is unstoppable. Unstoppable. Um, so yeah, and then I heard from Shantae, she's not ready to come on tonight, but she knows she's always welcome.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, well, thank you to everybody that was listening. And we'll be back a week from today.
Yes, we will.
Okay. See everybody next
Good
time.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Hannah's Global History Night, y'all. Hold on 1 second. We are not off. Let's see.